I'm Dorothy Rowe. Consciousness and the nervous system. No part of this system is outside the auspices of the source of creation. These two parts coordinate to rise up out of suffering. Lack of coordination is one of the deepest seeds of suffering. How do we get consciousness, which is non-physical, and the nervous system, which is physical, on the same page? What language do both of these aspects speak that will allow them to communicate? They both speak the language of feeling and perception. In fact, everything in the universe speaks this language. How can we trust truth coming through the channel of feeling and perception when these channels are essentially abstract? I can tell you, you are divine being experiencing human reality. I understand this to be true, but if you are unable to experience divine source, it will be hard to accept this truth. Perceptual clarity and discrimination are required to separate truth from falsehood. Access to truth is fundamental to rising above depression, anxiety, PTSD, and other feelings that lead to health problems. The energy signature of perceptual clarity and discrimination are stabilizing in the field of your deepest understanding. These values are absolutely available to you under all times and all circumstances. Consistently, energy healing comes back to redefining oneself in terms of truth and the reality that only the one divine source is. This can be experienced in isolated fields and areas of the being, while not being experienced in other areas. A person could have a single organ that feels as if it is separate from its divine source, while the rest of the body feels unified. With depression, the lack of unification is experienced, at least in part, in the gut. That means that both the microbiota and soul feel separate from God at the same time. What is the soul? It is God material, filtering through the human form. What is the human form? It is God-made material, stardust, that is organized by divine intelligence to be a suitable vehicle for consciousness, God material, to know the creation. Back to wholeness. This stabilizes in the silence of your being. The formula for healing the body is to return to the source of creation with as much purity as possible. Do pain and suffering block purity? Surprisingly, no. However, pain and suffering block the experience of the return to wholeness. The return to wholeness is essentially an illusion. Why? Because no part of the universe is outside of the whole source of creation. What is to return? Everything is already within the embrace of wholeness. What returns are the aspects of oneself that are gripped by the falsehood of separation. The return is marked by the recognition of I am that. Aham Brahmasmi. This recognition is transformative. It creates the context by which the suffering forms in the material world are recreated in the image of the divine. This recreation is a byproduct of what happens in the gap between the unmanifest source of creation and the finest manifest expression of the body. The key to miraculous, optimized healing is in the gap. The purity and virtue expressed during the inward stroke determines the power and capability expressed in the outward stroke. The first seed of intention, emerging from the gap, shapes the entire course of manifest expression. If you can produce a good seed, and nurture it well, you will get a better result. We control the seed, not by manipulating the seed. Who creates the seed? Divine Being creates the seed. What do? We dive deeply into the ocean of wholeness, totality, Divine Being, etc. As individuals, we influence the health of the seed by soaking awareness in the one silence. The more individual experience of being colors reality, shapes the nervous system, and dominates perception, the more perfect the seeds emerge. The cultivation of silence cannot be gained through shortcuts. The more gradual the cultivation process, the more complete the result. If a person tries to shortcut the process, the results will be suboptimal. This leads to one conclusion. It is necessary to approach this process at a royal pace. The good news is that as soon as you step on the path, the suffering reduces. The further you go on the path, the more reduction of suffering there is. Of course, there is a little bit of up and down along the path. However, the long-term effect is that life and health are optimized on a foundation that is solid. This foundation is built upon the evolution of both consciousness and the physical body. When consciousness and the physical body work together for mutual benefit, the results are incomparable. They are unshakable. They are solid and long-lasting. The aim of energy healing is for the highest quality of results. It is for you to live your full potential, to unfold your life from this moment forward in a way that brings success, fulfillment, and the sacred bliss of being permeating the mind, body, and senses of perception. Thank you for being with me.